lay your head down, 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 lay your head down. Hey Christy, lay your head down. Mary had a little lamb, little lamb, little lamb. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, Mary went, Mary went. Everywhere that Mary went, that lamb was sure to go. It followed her to school one day, school one day, school one day. This is actually just our backup ring sling, right? This is not a new one. We've had this for a long time. I traded for this. Long story. Stephanie, hey! Yeah, this is our backup one for when the rainbow wrap is in the wash. It's like a t-shirt material. Oh my god, we missed you, right? Ow. I washed the rainbow wrap because we took it on our trip with us and it was like on the plane and stuff, and I just felt like it needed to be washed. Yeah, plane germs and just like trip germs in general, you know. Just felt like it should be washed. So I did. How's everyone doing? How's everyone feeling? Doing good, doing fine, living alive? Well, that's dumb, right? Which thing? Everything or anything in particular? I'm just adding dumb stuff now just to like make them not kill my account. Hey Jen, we missed you yesterday. How are you? I saw your pumpkins. Those were baller. You did a great job. I really thought I was on the up and up with YouTube. And now I'm losing followers on YouTube, so I was like, man, what did I do wrong? I don't know any of them. Oh, that's weird. That is weird. I mean, it looked great. We're supposed to be carving our pumpkin today for her, but then I just realized if we don't know where our tools are, how we're gonna do that. That was the plan, but we probably should have, like, I don't know. You know. Alright. I'm making my coffee a little differently this morning. Let's see how it goes. Will I regret it? Boom.
Is it gonna overflow? Oh my god. Oh my god. This was a bad choice. Oh man. Oh no. I made a poor decision, you guys. I'm sorry that you guys had to experience that. I'm so sorry. Liz missed it. It was comical. Liz did not have to experience me slurping coffee in your ear. I'm so sorry. That's like the worst sound ever. I'm so sorry. It's so funny. Everyone thinks it's a new sling, but I've worn this on book club like a ton of times. This is my backup sling whenever the rainbow wrap is being washed. I've had this one for, gosh, at least since the beginning of summer. If you're interested, I can tell you how I got it. It's a funny story, or at least sort of, whatever. So there's this company called, it's the color you're seeing different. Oh, because the lighting. Oh, maybe you're seeing it differently because the lighting. I love that. What's different about it, right? Okay, so I'll tell you how I got this ring sling. So there's a company called Love Held, and they make really popular ring slings. This is not a Love Held ring sling, so stick with me here. They make really popular ring slings, and they call them like waffle knits or gen weaves. Oh no, slurp, slurp, slurp. I know. I really lost it for a second there, right, Nikki? So they make these really popular ring slings that are different textures, right? They're really known for their textiles that this woman makes herself, and they're like super cool, and everyone's really into them, and they're supposedly really strong and soft and lovely. And so I was like, well, I'd like to try one of those, right? So I looked them up. Of course, they are extremely expensive. And I was like, well, can't be doing that, right? Lucy, darling, oh no. So they were expensive. So I did not get a Love Held right away. And then Love Held had a what do you call it? Like a flash sale. They had a flash sale for mystery bags, right? So the mystery bags were whatever on super sale, but you didn't know what you were gonna get. Like, you know, I'm pretty picky, you know, about stuff, but I was like, okay, let me try it and let's see that Max capacity forever. I know. Oh no, it overflows. So I've not seen you so long. How's baby? She is 9 months old now, Barbara. Can you believe that? So anyway, I ordered the mystery bag of this Love Held ring sling, and when it arrived, wouldn't you know, it was like pretty much the only color that I would not wear. It was like I love yellow, but it was like a dirty gold, and I was like, oh. So I didn't even open it. I immediately put it on the boards for trades, and I ended up getting 2 ring slings for it because it was worth so much, and this is one of the ones that I got for it. And I just traded 2 for 1 because I just knew I would never wear it in that color. So that's how I got this one. Yes. That is how I got this one. I know nobody asked, but that's the story anyway. I wanted one that I would wear. Like, what's the point of having it if you're never going to use it? And then because of the material this became our backup, like workhorse, as I don't care if it gets dirty because it's t-shirt material, so I can just wash it like a bajillion times. I mean, it's not really t-shirt material, but it feels like it. Anyway, really quickly, before we start, can I ask a question, but like also sort of like a little bit rant at the same time? And it's gonna be specific, but like it can relate to other things, right? Okay, so this is in particular in the baby wearing world, but like I think the concept translates across. So just for background, for anyone who isn't familiar with this particular thing, if you are baby wearing a baby, it is recommended that you do not wear them in tight-fitting footy pajamas. The reason for that is pretty much threefold. The first is it's difficult to get a fit when anything is tightly pulling on their legs because they don't bend as freely, right? The second thing is it can trigger their standing reflex and make them want to kick out their seat. And the third reason is it can cut off circulation for them. None of those things are great. We try to avoid those things. Why do them? Fine. Okay, whatever. Most people don't know that going in. So if you don't know it, I don't fault you at all. But the thing that grinds my gears and burns my toast a little bit is I'm in a community where we give free fit checks, right, on Facebook. So if somebody is in need of a fit check, educators or people who are highly skilled at this, like Ray, would go in and say, like, they would post a picture and we would give them a fit check. Happy to do that. I'm always kind to anyone who doesn't know what they're doing, all of those things, yada, yada. But the one that grinds my gears is when people go on there and they post a picture of their kid in, let's say, a ring sling or whatever, in footy pajamas, and then they say, I know I'm not supposed to use the footy pajamas, but I just really wanted to try this on. Okay, look, I get the impetus of wanting to try something new on when it first comes to you, but you understand posting to get a fit check, specifically in clothing that will inhibit a good fit check, is kind of a waste, right? Because you're saying, I know they're not supposed to wear these, but like now you're showing us a picture of an inefficient fit check because you know it's wrong. So what am I supposed to do with that? You already know it's wrong. Okay, you told me already. There's no way you're gonna get a good fit in those pants. So what do you want me to tell you? Change and take a new picture? I mean, like, that's rude. So we all just go, well, it looks as good as it can be for that. And then you've wasted everyone's time. I don't know. It's like, it's more and more happening more and more. Right. Like if you just want to try it on and say, is this a pretty color on me? Live your best life. I'm fine with that. But like to say, is this a good fit when you know you can't get a good fit that way? What are we even doing? And the other one that drives me nuts is the amount of people who go into that group and say, I don't have time to do research. Can you tell me what works for A, B, and C? Like, bro, you can't even be bothered to read the pinned post. Like, there's pinned posts in the group that give so much information. You can't even be bothered to go to that. You want everyone else to do the work for you. Like, at bare minimum, you could say, like, I've researched and it looks like the best ones for me are X, Y, and Z. Does anyone have real life reviews for them? That I understand. Wanting real people's experiences, I totally understand. But literally coming right out and saying, like this one woman posted today, I wonder if I didn't know there was a drama group, right? You have to link me to that. I'll be interested in reading it. There was one woman who posted today. She goes, I'm 32 weeks pregnant. I don't have time before I have the baby to research what to wear them in. Oh no, of course, Liz, I know what you meant. Yeah, the poster, lazy, 100%. 100% they're lazy. I know you don't think I'm lazy. I don't think anyone thinks I'm lazy. If they do, we should have a talk. Yeah, ignore the step-by-step guide. Yeah. But like, this is the thing. She's 32 weeks pregnant and she's like, I don't have time to figure out what I should get before the baby comes. Bro, you've got weeks. Yes, I'm so lazy. Yes, that's right. That's right, Stephanie. Wait, it won't let me unfilter Stephanie's comment. Is it because she said lazy? Oh, there it is. Sounds like you have time. Right, sounds like you have time. Yeah, but also, like, if you have time to post on Facebook, you probably have at least time to just, like, Google best newborn carrier. I don't know. But also, click on the pinned post. It's all there. Like, it's all there. It's almost as good as the guide that Amanda made for us for slime stuff. Almost, not quite, but almost. Not taking away from this combo, but what book in the series is this one? We're book 4. Care enough about your child to do the research. Right. Or, like, listen, I know that not everyone, like, I asked people questions, but, like, I looked into stuff and then I would say, okay, what do you think of this? You know what I mean? Like, especially people like Ray and Renee, who I knew had way more experience than me, but those are personal friends. I feel like just going to strangers and asking for advice is different than like Stephanie coming to me and being like, hey, Sasha, you're a friend of mine. You just got certified. Can you give me some info on what one of these that I want is the best? Like, she already knew she wanted a ring sling, and she was like, well, I should get the one that Sasha likes because she got certified. You know what I mean? And I was like, well, it's actually, there's so many good ones, it's personal preference. And she was like, well, I like this pattern. And I was like, well, that's great, then buy it, you know? And that's the conversation. And that's great when it's your friend, right? But like a group of like 5,000 strangers, you're just gonna be like, hey, strangers, I don't want to do any work, do it for me. I don't know. It's just weird to me. And last, but certainly not least, I had an experience yesterday, and I won't say who it was with, where someone was wearing their baby forward facing, and when that's true, I did do my due diligence. When I gently asked them if their baby hit the milestones for forward facing, because it's someone I know very well, so I felt comfortable doing that, they said they didn't even know there were milestones because they did not read the manual. And I was like, so you just threw caution to the wind and just assumed you could just put that floppy little baby in there. And it's someone I know really well, like someone that I care deeply about this child. And I was like, I had to hold myself back. I was like, just tell them you just care about the baby. Just tell them you just care about the baby. I was like she was asleep while I was doing it, and I just kept looking at her being like, you're safe, you're okay, nothing's gonna happen to you, I'm never gonna forward face you. Anyway, all right, well, let's read now that I've wasted all of our time talking about this, but you know, you all know how I feel about stuff like that. I think your child's safety should be the utmost priority. Oh my God, if Steph was wearing baby E forward facing right now, I would call her on the phone. I would find her phone number and I would call her and I would yell at her. I would be like, you put that baby down or I'm coming to get her and she's coming to live with us. Sorry. But Steph's not dumb, so she won't do that. But if she did, I would take, yes, ballistic auntie's coming in. Yes, I would take severe steps to avoid a brand new newborn baby being forward faced. Yes. Okay, so let's do some reading. Not for a moment would I think it was her. No, not even close. Not even close. It was an older than that baby, but still not old enough. Are you all ready? Are we ready, friends? We are on chapter 6. Chapter 6 is called The Bad Fairies. Here we go. Connor and his friends returned to Dead Man's Creek much sooner than any of them would have liked. He and Jack rummaged through the piles of the destroyed witch's brew, while Red and Goldilocks searched the woods nearby. Porridge and her son Oates, who was nearly the size of his mother now, helped Connor and Jack by kicking over large pieces of the wrecked tavern. I only see sticks, Jack said. Are we looking for anything in particular? Oh no, I know you knew that, Nikki. I know you would. I would never. Also, if it was Stephanie, me saying it while Stephanie's in the room would be actually insane. Like, how passive aggressive could I possibly be? To be like, I'm not gonna say who this was. And just stare into her soul through the screen. But someone. It's someone who's never been to book club, I'll tell you that much. Someone who I know in my real life who's never been. That's really funny, Amanda. That's funny, you guys. Are we looking for anything in particular? Jack said. Anything, Connor said desperately. Anything that could lead us to the masked man. Alex isn't going to stop looking for him because the fairy council forbade her to. She'll be even more determined to prove herself now. We've got to get to him before she does. I'm afraid of what she might do if she finds him. Connor tried to tell himself that he had done everything that he could to help his sister, but he knew that wasn't true. If he had been honest with her from the beginning about her obsession with the masked man, perhaps they wouldn't be in this predicament now. Now, on top of being overwhelmed, Alex was all alone and probably thought the entire world was against her. including her brother. Connor just wanted to find her so that he could help her rebuild everything that had been lost. But even if they found her, he wouldn't even know where to start. The most passive-aggressive people you've ever... Oh, I believe it, Amanda. I believe you. This is such a shame, Red said, shaking her head as she searched the ground. The people you depend on and trust always disappoint you the most. Goldilocks nodded. Yeah, I agree. I can't believe the Fairy Council did that to Alex, especially after all she's done for the kingdoms. Who cares if the masked man is her father or not? You'd think that they would just learn to trust her instincts by now. Red glanced awkwardly at her. The Fairy Council? Oh, no. I was talking about the caterers for the wedding. They canceled on us this morning. Do you know how difficult it'll be to find someone to cook for 500 people with just 2 days' notice? Goldilocks found Red more annoying than ever when she talked about her wedding. The last thing Red needed was more entitlement. I'm really glad that Jack and I had a small wedding, Goldilocks said. No fight or fuss, just simple and quick. Red rolled her eyes. Yeah, I suppose it was really easy sending invitations since your guest list is the same as the most wanted list. Unfortunately, Unfortunately, when you're as respected as Charlie and I are, you have no choice but to throw an extravagant and elegant celebration. Our people are depending on a spectacular wedding. It teaches them how to dream. Goldilocks took a deep breath, fighting the temptation to throw something at Red. If you still have wedding plans to make, then why are you here? Goldilocks asked. Oh, I don't like planning anything without Charlie. He was busy with a bunch of king nonsense today. Apparently the citizens are really anxious about what he's going to rename the kingdom now that he's on the throne. Is he going to name it after himself like you and little Beau did? Goldilocks asked. No, Red said, disappointed to report. He's determined to give the kingdom a name that it can keep beyond his reign. I believe he settled on the Center Kingdom. It's a bit boring if you ask me, but I suppose the kingdom will save a fortune not constantly reprinting maps. Red suddenly stopped in her tracks and pressed her finger to her lips. Goldilocks was very familiar with this pose. Red did it every time she was about to ask for a favor. I almost forgot, Red said. I have something I wanted to ask you, Goldie. Oh no, Goldilocks sighed. Since Alex will still most likely be in hiding by the time of the wedding, will you please be my matron of honor? Red asked excitedly. Oh, please say yes. I can't think of anyone else that I've been through more with. So, we're like sisters, the kind of sisters that have almost killed each other at one point in time. Goldilocks stared at her blankly for a few moments and then burst into tears. Red became teary-eyed at the sight and she threw her arms around her. Oh my God, I didn't know that you would be so touched by my request, Red said. I'm not, Goldilocks said, and she wiped her eyes on Red's sleeve. That sounds awful, but I can't think of a good reason to say no. Everything seems so much worse when you're pregnant. Red quickly dropped the embrace and joined the boys. I'm sorry, Red. That was really rude of me. Of course I'll be your matron of honor, Goldilocks apologized. I can't filter a word I say because of all my hormones. Their search for the clues leading to the masked man continued for a couple more hours, until Connor's frustration got the best of him. He grunted loudly and began kicking the debris all around him. This is so pointless, he yelled. There's nothing here. We've got to look somewhere else. This is the only location we've seen the masked man in 5 months, Jack said. Where else could we possibly search? Connor didn't have the answer. He walked down to the creek and he sat on a boulder as he thought it over. He looked into the sky for clarity, but instead he found a distraction. What he saw was very strange, and he rubbed his eyes to make sure it wasn't a hallucination. Guys, Connor said to the others, what's that? A book was flying through the air, and it appeared to be flying toward him. As the book flew closer, Connor saw 3 tiny objects hovering all around it, one purple, one green, and one orange. Each had a pair of colorful wings. Are those insects? Because I did not bring any bug repellent, Red said. No, they're fairies, Goldilocks said. Hey, Roxy. Incoming, one of the fairies yelled. We can't hold this any longer. Their book slipped from the tiny grip and smacked Connor right in the face. He temporarily lost sight in his left eye, but when his vision returned, he saw that the 3 fairies landed on a boulder beside him. They were sweating profusely and very out of breath. I'm so sorry, Connor, one of the fairies said. We've carried that thing all the way from the fairy kingdom. Connor instantly recognized her, although he hadn't seen her in years. Trix? Is that you? He asked. The fairy had dark hair, blue wings, and wore a dress made of purple leaves. She smiled up at him and batted her eyes, so pleased that he remembered her name. Hey, Connor, Trix said. We've been looking everywhere for you. These are my friends Merkle and Noodle. She gestured to the other fairies and then waved at him. Noodle was plump for her size and her stomach stuck out of her orange dress. Merkle was as thin as a pencil and glanced around nervously as she vigorously rubbed her hands together. We should not have done this, Merkle said. We're going to get in so much trouble. Merkle, calm down before your hands catch on fire, Noodle said. No one even knows we're here. What are you doing here anyway? Connor asked, and Trix flew up to his face so she could look him in the eye. We know about your sister, she said. Trix, the entire world knows about my sister, Connor said. Overnight, she went from the fairy godmother to the most wanted person alive. It's pretty newsworthy. No, I mean, we were there last night at the fairy council meeting, Trix said. We saw the whole thing. Yeah, we were sitting in the windowsill where no one ever notices us there, Noodle said with a wink. We never miss a fairy council meeting. It gives us something to talk about with the other fairies. We know about the masked man, and we think Alex is right to be worried about him. We shouldn't have been there, Merkle said, and she covered her face in shame. And most of the fairies we've talked to are on Alex's side, Trix said. We think it's the council who blew things out of proportion. Connor was glad that his sister had support from someone. I really appreciate that, Trix, but it's very complicated. The council will banish us from the fairy kingdom if they find out that we've stolen this book, Merkle suddenly exclaimed. We're bad fairies. We are very, very bad fairies. The poor thing looked as if she was about to have a heart attack. Okay, pause for a second, Connor said. What did you guys steal? Trix and Noodle eyed each other mischievously. Remember that time that you and your sister saved me from banishment? Trix asked. Well, it's been 3 years, and I've always planned on returning the favor, so I wanted to help your sister prove herself. And Noodle and Merkle, they agreed to assist me. Biggest regret of my life, Merkle said. In the council meeting, your sister mentioned that the masked man stole a potion from the late fairy godmother, one he claimed was very, very powerful, Trix said. The fairy council isn't worried about it, but if Alex is concerned about it, then we're concerned about it. So we did a little snooping around the fairy palace on her behalf, and it turns out she was right, Noodle said. The late fairy godmother did invent a potion that was very powerful, and we think it's the one that the masked man stole. Given the sources, Connor didn't want to get his hopes up, but what they were telling him was very intriguing. So, how do you know this? He asked. Just show him the book already. I can't stand the anticipation, Merkle yelled. Her eyes almost bulged out of their sockets. Trix and Noodle each grabbed a corner of the book that they had transported, and they brought it and dropped it in Connor's lap. He opened up and flipped through the pages. It was filled with entries, sketches, diagrams, everything. It was a log of experiments. I think one more's coming. My apologies. Hold on. Hey, Sybil. Okay, it's not coming. Is it coming? Is it not coming? At first, Connor assumed that the neat and feminine handwriting belonged to a scientist, but it looked very familiar. This was the same handwriting that Connor had seen on birthday cards and on letters. This is my grandma's, Connor said. I've never seen this before. Me too, Brittany, it's the worst. We found it tucked away in her former chambers at the palace, Trix said. She recorded the ingredients of all the spells and the potions she created inside of it. And we stole it, Merkle gasped. She had never been so ashamed in her life. Yeah, we stole it, Noodle said with a smile. She was tickled by their naughtiness. And we think the last entry is the potion that the masked man stole, Trix said. It's very powerful, much more powerful than any other potion that she created. Jack, Goldilocks, and Red gathered closer to Connor, and the other fairies waited anxiously to hear it themselves. Even Porridge and Oats seemed interested by what the fairies had discovered. I think that might be worth taking a look at, Jack said. I agree. Let's listen to the insects, Connor, Red said, and the fairies fluttered with so much excitement that they buzzed like little bees. Just read the last few pages, the part about the portal potion, Trix instructed, and Connor turned to the last entry in his grandmother's book and read about this creation. The portal potion. Success. After weeks of trying, I finally discovered the correct ingredients for the potion I would hoped I could create for my son. With just a few drops, the potion turns any written work into a portal into the world it describes. Even with my ability to create portals from the other world, I never thought that it would be possible to create a substance that allowed me passage to any world that I wished. My son will get to see places and meet the characters that he spent his whole childhood dreaming about, and best of all, I will get to watch his happiness soar as it happens. The ingredients are much simpler than I imagined, but difficult to obtain. Their purposes are more metaphysical than practical, so it took some imagination to get the concoction right. At first, the requirement is a bread from the oldest tree in the woods to bring the pages to life. I figured the potion would need the very thing that brought the paper to life in the first place. What else has more life than an ancient tree? The second ingredient is a feather from the finest pheasant in the sky. This will guarantee that your potion has no limits and, like a bird in flight, will fly. It will ensure that you can travel to lands far and wide beyond your imagination. The third component is a liquefied lock and key that belonged to a true love. Just as this person unlocked your heart to a life of love, it will open the door to a literary dimension that your heart desires to experience. The fourth ingredient is 2 weeks of moonlight. Just that was weird. Hi, sweetheart. You can sleep, honey. Like a gust of air just blew through here and made not these but the other slats all wave. There's no window open and we don't even, it is the fairies. We don't have the air on and the window's not open. Hi, baby angel. Oh, hi. Did you guys hear that? She goes, hi. It's me, it's the ghost, yes. It's Lauren the ghost. Good morning, baby angel. How are you doing? Should we finish reading? What do you think? Yeah. Hi. You want to sleep some more? Hi. 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 The fourth ingredient is 2 weeks of moonlight. Just as the moon causes the waves in the ocean, the moon will stir your potion to life. Hi. Last, but most important, give the potion a spark of magic to activate the ingredients. Send it a beam of joy straight from your heart. The potion does not work on any biographies or history books, but purely works of imagination. Now, I must warn about the dangers of entering a fictional world. Oh, this is important, you guys. Are you ready, honey? You have to listen to the dangers of entering a fictional world. You don't want to listen? You want to show them your Italian hands? She does Italian hands now. You want to show them your Italian hands? No? Okay, let's read this list. Time only exists as long as the story continues. Be sure to leave the book before the story ends, or you may disappear as the story concludes. Each world is made up only of what the author describes. Do not expect the characters to have any knowledge of our world or the other world. Are you all done? You want to? Okay. You want to go in the playpen? You want to play? Do you want to play? You want to go over there? Yes? Yes? You want out? Say out. You say out. Out, out, out. Out. Whee! Out. There you go. I'm coming. Can you give me 1 minute? Honey, you're not alone. Honey, I'm coming. Mommy's coming right now. I just had to put you down for a second so I could get the tripod and the book and the coffee. I'm coming, see? Here's Mommy. Here's a tripod. Here's a book. Mommy just getting the coffee. Can Mommy have her coffee? What do you think? Look, I'm coming in right now. See? Here I am. Here I am. Okay. And we are gonna have a Tower of Terror in 3, 2. Woo! What do you think of that? You liked it? Okay. Should we keep reading? This is about all the... Here, you want this, don't you? You've been really into this week. Here you go. Where's the octagon, honey? What'd you do with the octagon? It's got to be here somewhere. We're missing an octagon, you guys. We have the rhombus, we have the square, we have the triangle, we have the circle. Where's the octagon? All gone, octagon. Okay. Oh, maybe it's a hexagon. My bad, it's a hexagon. Okay. It's still gone, regardless. Number 3. Are you ready for this? This is important, honey. Beware of the story's villains. Unlike people in our world or the other world, most literary villains are created to be heartless and stripped of all morals, so do not expect any mercy should you cross paths with one. Oh yes, please do, Naisha. I can get you the... It's hexagon. I can get you the link. Number 4, the book you choose to enter will act as your entrance and exit. Be certain that nothing happens to you as it is your only way out. Okay. The fairy godmother had drawn an illustration of a small vial at the end of the entry. It looked like the bottle that Alex had seen the masked man steal, and exactly like the bottle that Connor had seen him holding on the roof of the witch's brew. Holy smokes, Connor said, and his head was spinning so fast he felt like the ground was moving. Yeah. That's how he survived the fall when Alex made the tavern float. He activated a small book with the potion. He must have gone inside it before it hit the ground. The situation was becoming clear but more confusing all at once. Was it possible that Alex had been right this entire time? Your grandmother said she made the potion for her son. Your father? Goldilocks said. When the masked man stole it, he told Alex that he was taking something that was owed to him. Connor nodded. I almost hate to say it, but Alex's story really is starting to make sense, he said, although he still wasn't even ready to believe it himself. Do you want this out of your way? Is this in your way? Mommy can move that. Here, you want these up? Here, look. The bear's up. You want them to go up so you can knock them down? There you go. Is that better? Yeah. The masked man told the witches that he needed their help finding something, and once he did, he could recruit an army beyond their wildest imaginations, Jack recalled. He said it was a collection of sorts, and it was supposed to be with the potion, but the late fairy godmother had gotten rid of it. Yeah, he must have been talking about a collection of books, Connor said. We've got to find Alex, and we have to fill her in on this. She might know which books he's talking about. They all looked at one another, more determined than ever to find her. However, Red did not reciprocate their enthusiasm. She had zoned out of the conversation and was staring peculiarly at the creek. Hey, Red, what's wrong? Jack asked. Nothing, I'm fine, Red said, but she never looked up. I swear, I just saw the creek's current change direction. Red then let out a high-pitched squeal. She covered her mouth with one hand and pointed down the creek with the other two. What? That's not how you read anything. She doesn't have 3 hands. With the other, the next word is 2. Let's try that again, shall we, sweetheart? Red let out a high-pitched squeal. She covered her mouth with one hand and pointed down the creek with the other. 2 wooden caskets eerily floated from one part of the dwarf forest to where they were. Red and the others stared at them in complete silence until the caskets gradually washed ashore nearby. What are those doing in the creek? Trix asked. She and her other fairy friends had never seen such a macabre sight. They don't call it Dead Man's Creek for nothing, Jack said. You don't think that there are bodies in there, do you? Red peeped, and Goldilocks withdrew her sword. Well, there's only one way to find out. Without any hesitation, Goldilocks approached them. The caskets approached the caskets and sliced off their latches. She opened them and then covered her mouth from the smell. Oh, yep, there are bodies inside, all right, she said. Come take a look. I've never seen corpses like these before. No thank you, Red was quick to say. I will take your word for it. Connor and Jack went to have a look for themselves. Each casket contained a body of an elderly person. They were so pale and wrinkly that they looked like white raisins. They were so shriveled that their gender couldn't even be identified. It was as if the bodies had been completely drained of life. The fairies hovered over Jack's shoulder, too scared to look, but too curious not to. Oh no, Merkel cried. It's an omen. It's an omen, I tell you. It was so ghoulish that Connor thought the paranoid fairy might actually be right. Yeah, he said. But an omen of what? She goes, ah! Okay, should we try to read one more since you seem to be in a good mood? We're on page 106. Chapter 7 is very short. We should definitely read chapter 7. It is super short. But I'm going to give you a piggy. Here, would you like a piggy? That's the third little pig, the brick pig. That's right, honey. Do you want a dragon? Do you want your dragon? What does the dragon say? What's the dragon say? What do you think? I guess that'll do. I found the hexagon. Do you want it? Do you want this? Yes. All right. Let's read chapter 7. Chapter 7 is called Answers in the Attic. Answers in the Attic. As soon as Bree finished her biology homework, Mrs. Campbell set her up in the narrow pull-down stairs, sent her up the narrow pull-down stairs to organize the attic. It didn't necessarily need organizing, but there were only so many times that Bree could clean the kitchen or mow the lawn. And since Bree was still grounded, her mom was forced to get creative with the tasks that she assigned, and the Campbell house had never looked better because of it. The attic was dark and dusty. Besides a little light cleaning, there wasn't much that Bree could do. So she figured that she would just move the boxes from one end of the attic to the other until her mom called her down for dinner. At first, she tried to arrange all the storage by season, but that stopped when she couldn't decide which season a box of baby clothes belonged in. And then she started organizing items by color until she found the box of Christmas lights. What does a dragon say, sweetheart? What does a dragon say? She's on the hexagon. Okay, that's fair. And then she quickly lost interest in the amount of work that would take. The themes to her organization changed repeatedly until she ended up stacking the boxes in the shape of famous structures. Bree had been so taunted by questions and theories lately that she actually enjoyed this mindless activity. She never expected to find something in the attic that would make those questions even more daunting. She stacked a pile of boxes too high and it toppled over, spilling all the contents out onto the floor. One of the items was a small treasure chest that Bree had never seen before. She could tell that it was old from the faded floral design painted all over the wood. She blew off a layer of dust covering the chest and discovered the name Annalise was carved into the lid. It's similar to the sound that the wolf makes, yeah. Sweetheart, what does a wolf say? What does a wolf say? What? What does a wolf say? Here, where's the wolf? What does the wolf say? That's right. As soon as she sees it. That's really funny, Jillian. As soon as she saw the wolf, she said it. That's fair, Stephanie. That's really fair. That's what the piggy's screaming for the wolf. Yeah, the piggy's so scared of the wolf. Does the piggy go, ah, it's a wolf! That's right. That's very right. What does a wolf say? Here's the wolf. Here, should we show them the wolf? What does the wolf say? Huh? Rawr. That's right. growl is so cute. It just kills me. Actually, everything you do is so cute. But the growl is in particular quite adorable. She does have the raspiness. Yeah, she does. I know, the wolf growl was unexpected. I didn't see it coming in my life. I know. Is that what the piggy says when the wolf comes by? The piggy goes, ah! That's right. Okay, let's keep reading. Annalise, Bree said as she inspected it. Oh, this must have belonged to Grandma. She was Bree's German grandmother, and since Bree had been questioning her heritage a lot lately, she wondered if she could find anything among her grandmother's things. She opened the chest, and a strong perfume scent filled the attic. The chest was full of letters, photos, and newspaper clippings that her grandmother had saved over the years. One of the clippings caught Bree's eye. It had yellowed with age and was very stiff to the touch. It announced Annalise's engagement to Stephen Campbell, Bree's grandfather, and directly under the clipping was a letter addressed to her grandmother, and Bree's heart stopped when she read it. The return address said, honey, this is important. Cornelia Grimm, 1729 Mystic Lane, Willow Grove, CT. Grimm, Bree said, and she opened the letter as fast as she could. This was exactly what she was looking for. A black and white photograph fell out of the envelope. It was of two young women posing on the steps of a very large house. One was on the right, and that was definitely Bree's grandmother, so she assumed the woman on the left was Cornelia. Cornelia looked a few years younger than Bree's grandmother. She had long... Hold on, honey. She had long blonde hair all the way down to her waist and the same smile as Annalise. Bree figured the two must have been related. She carefully unfolded the letter, and she read it. Are you ready? Dearest cousin Annalise, I recently found this photo of you and me when I was cleaning out my desk, and I wanted you to have it. It was taken the day that you... It was taken... Here, the piggy's going to read the book. You ready? Can I borrow the piggy? Can I borrow this piggy? Watch, the piggy's going to read the book. Ready? Ready? Let's watch. It was taken the day that you came to live with us at the house. Can you believe it was almost 5 years ago? It seems like only yesterday we picked you up from the harbor. We hope that married life is treating you well. Tears come to my eyes every time I remember your beautiful wedding. Stephen is a wonderful man. Are there any children for you two on the horizon? I certainly hope so. The house isn't the same without you, but we are getting by. The sisters and I continue the family work and have so many amazing things to tell you next time we meet. We know this isn't what you intended to happen when you moved to the United States, but we're so happy that you found such a wonderful life. We miss you and think about you often. Love, Cornelia and the sisters. Happy birthday, Wendy. Happy birthday. Mwah. Bree put the letter down and stared at the floor in a little bit of shock. Grimm was not a common last name, so if Cornelia was her grandmother's cousin, then it was very possible that their theory... Honey, hold on 1 second, okay? Can Mommy read this? Their theory about being related to Wilhelm Grimm was true. The letter practically proved it. She searched the chest for more correspondences between her grandmother and Cornelia, but they must have lost touch over the years because she didn't find anything else. It didn't matter. This small piece of information made Bree feel like 1,000 fireworks had been ignited inside of her. You're not going to let me read anymore? You said no more reading? What do you think? One more page? Bree whipped out her cell phone from her pocket, eager to tell Emmerich. She didn't care how late it was in Bavaria. She had to share this information with someone else before she would combust. Bree, dinner's almost ready, Mrs. Campbell said, and she climbed into the attic. Well, it certainly looks different in here, Bree's mother said. I had a little bit of difficulty organizing it, Bree said. I can finish it after dinner. No, honey, you don't have to, Mrs. Campbell said. Your dad and I were just talking. We've decided you're off the hook. You're not grounded anymore. Really? Bree asked. She was very surprised at this exciting turn of events this afternoon. Why? Because your little sister cut off her classmate's ponytail at school today, Mrs. Campbell said. You've done such a great job at chores. We have no way of punishing her, so we think you've learned your lesson. Bree nodded. Oh, yep, I definitely have, she said eagerly. And Mrs. Campbell tried to stop herself from saying what she said next, but it boiled up so much inside of her she had no choice. Hold on, honey. Why did you have to do something so stupid, Bree? I love all of you girls equally, but you really are my smart daughter. Why did you think it would be okay to run around Europe like that? I told you, Mom, Bree said. I just wanted to have a little fun, and if it's any consolation, I read a study that says severe jet lag alters a person's judgment, so I might have just had, I don't know, severe jet lag had something to do with it. Well, whatever it was, don't do it again, Mrs. Campbell said, and she noticed the chest and the letter in Bree's hand. What did you find there? I found some of Grandma Annalise's old letters, Bree said. This one's from someone named Cornelia Grimm. Does that sound familiar? Mrs. Campbell thought about it. Oh, I think that was one of the ladies from your grandma's old coven, she laughed. Bree was certain she misheard her. I'm sorry. Did you say coven? She said with a gulp. In, like, a house of witches? Bree was certain that she had misheard her. Well, at least that's how your dad and his brothers joked about it, Mrs. Campbell said. Wait, are you telling me that Grandma was a witch? Bree asked. It was starting to concern Mrs. Campbell how seriously her daughter was taking this. You want this, honey? Can you hold it? Sweetheart, witches don't exist. Oh, that's amazing. Mary, there's definitely a lot of tutorials for that one. I think I even have one on my page. Sweetheart, witches don't exist, she said. When your grandmother came to this country, she moved into a big house somewhere in Connecticut that took a bunch of distant relatives in. Apparently, they used to do a bunch of kooky things together, probably just old European stuff. Your grandmother was really secretive about her life from before she met your grandfather. Oh, wow, you're trying to stand up with one hand? That is big girl stuff. Honey, I know you have a doctor's appointment today, but you don't have to show off that much. The doctor's going to think you're advanced no matter what you do. The doctor's going to think that you've advanced a lot no matter what. You don't have to stand up with one hand. No, one hand is not necessary. We can do two hands. Look at this. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Can we just finish this last page? Honey. One more page? Hearing this made Bree's mouth fall open. Well, maybe one of us should go there and figure it out, Bree said. It doesn't matter how distantly we're related. If we have family up there, it would be nice to meet them. Mrs. Campbell stared at her daughter as if she were coming down with an illness. Sweetheart, no one's going to Connecticut. Those women probably aren't even alive anymore. You've been grounded too long. I want you to make as many plans with your friends as possible for the next couple weeks, okay? I think that'll be really good for you. Mrs. Campbell returned downstairs, unaware of the state she was leaving her daughter in. Bree had so many thoughts all at once that she had forgotten how to move. She sat... I know, we're almost done. One more paragraph, honey. Okay, you want to stand up for the read? Here, why don't you stand up as we read it? You love to stand. Yeah, you can look over there. Bree had so many thoughts all at once, she forgot how to move. She sat in silence. Honey, it's one more paragraph. As her body caught up with her racing mind, she definitely had to make plans, but none of them had anything to do with friends. Bree had to find a way to get to Connecticut. See, that's all there was. We could have been done before if you had just been a calm girl. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Whee! Okay, so... today, we have our 9-month doctor's appointment. We haven't seen our doctor since we were 6 months old. So we're going to find out how much we grew today. Yeah, we're going to see how much we've grown since you were 6 months old. How much you weigh, how tall you are, all your new skills. Yeah. Okay, we're going to say bye-bye, everyone. We're going to read more tomorrow, okay? She turned to look at the camera. You want to say bye-bye? Say bye-bye. 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 She thinks this is hilarious. Why is that funny? Say bye-bye. Do-do-do-do. Okay, you want to sit down so Mommy can turn off the camera? Okay, bye guys. See you later.